And how's everybody doing? Because we got 2 presentations to go.
Doing
Let's
all right.
hang in there. So excited that Karl and I could come and be with you tonight and share our story of the last couple of years. Karl and I moved to Washington in 1993. We thought we would bring our young family and explore the great Pacific Northwest for a couple of years, and 25 years later, and we're still here. We moved into Issaquah when we got here and fell in love with this beautiful Northwest mountain town. But a few years back, Karl and I decided we wanted to change. We wanted to see if we could find a more sustainable lifestyle for ourselves, and we talked about moving and maybe even building a house. So looking around in Issaquah, we looked down at some of the older neighborhoods that were located right in service areas where they had transit and we could walk and bike to everything that we needed to do. We thought Issaquah would be a great choice because as a community it has completely embraced the green building ideas, and 20% of the houses in Issaquah are certified built green. So it is probably, I know, I'm pretty excited, probably the most of any Washington community. And as you can see from the picture, for every acre developed, 4 acres have been put into preservation, making sure that those who live there will be able to enjoy all those beautiful natural amenities forever. So Karl wanted to set the bar pretty high, and he went for, let's try for a built green 5-star home. And he's in charge of the clicker, so we won't have any marital disputes up here in front of you.
Ready for the next one?
Whichever way. There we go. So during construction in 2016 and 17, there were a lot of uncertainties with the state and the status of solar incentives. We knew we wanted it, but we couldn't decide if we could do it at that time, and wanted to make sure when Karl was building the house, he made accommodations for it in the future. So Issaquah last year launched the Solarize campaign, which meant that they made it really easy. They found a way and some program partners so that they could incentivize homeowners and businesses to sign up and install solar. And of course, we were first in line. So we installed the solar array that you can see in the picture over the canopy on our side deck. It was installed this summer, and we're hoping that it will pay for or cover the cost of 50% of our utility bills. And looking at our current bills, our summer bill is about $26 a month, and moving into fall, we're now at $50 a month, but this has been a really great addition for us.
So when Mary and I decided to go down the rabbit hole of building our own home, we wanted something that was unique, and we also thought that it might not be a bad idea to draw on my 30 years of experience in the commercial construction industry. And maybe more importantly, I wanted to do it my way.
Yes.
I was going to act as both the owner and general contractor, and sorry, Sage, but I didn't want to have an architect tell me what to do. So we met with a fellow by the name of Pedro Castro with Magellan Architects, and Mary and I suggested we wanted to have a place that was no bigger than 2,000 square feet. So Pedro went away, and he came back with this beautiful concept with roof decks. What's not to like, except it was 3,800 square feet. Just a little bit of creep. We had a contractor, architect, tete, and Pedro went away. He came back a couple of weeks later. This time, the concept was 2,500 square feet. Anyway, at that point, I kind of reluctantly conceded, still being told what to do. And off we went with Pedro living vicariously through our wallet.
Very much so.
Yeah. So as I started reviewing building systems, initially I was more interested in kind of implementing some cool features as opposed to building sustainably. And I spent countless hours on the internet late at night looking at neat things. And one night I came across this animal made by Zender. It was a 90% plus efficient HRV, and that piqued my interest. So the next day I hopped in the car, I drove down to Small Planet in Olympia, and just got sucked in with all their toys. So I think maybe in the final analysis, Albert and company down there is responsible for spending more money than Pedro did. So anyway, this is a partial list of some of the things we did, and we'll elaborate on a couple more.
So I am a passionate gardener, and I love native Northwest landscape. I wanted to make sure, the outside was my part, the construction of the house was Karl's part. I wanted to make sure that everything that was planted was drought tolerant, so it could thrive in our hot summers and survive in our 3 wet seasons. I didn't want to have irrigation, I wanted low maintenance, I wanted no chemicals, and Karl insisted that there would be no grass to cut, which is fine with me. This natural environment was so important to me because I knew that's what would help with, you know, the native species and the wildlife that we have in Issaquah. So it was super important for me to try and replicate as much as I could what the native environment looked like. We have rain gardens on the property and bioretention swales, and we were even allowed to install them on the city right-of-way, which was an absolute first in the city of Issaquah for a residential project. So we were very excited. They added to the beauty of the property, but also in trying to combine a little bit of art with engineering, Karl found a local artist who created Harry the Heron, who is the cover for the overflow outlet for our storm system. So that's pretty cool. 100% of our stormwater is infiltrated, and because of that, the city gives us a credit on our utility bill and removes the stormwater charge. So we have built so that we can use the stormwater system if we needed to, but we don't. It's all infiltrated.
During my hunt for building systems, I contemplated maybe using some concrete walls or masonry walls like my sister's house in Germany, but reality set in, and I kind of had to decide on whether I wanted to use structural insulated panels or just a conventional framed wall. I have a short attention span, so as I was sitting down to do the takeoff, kind of looked out the window, and it was a beautiful powder day, so that was enough. I grabbed the skis, hit the slopes, and had a great day, punted the takeoff, and made the decision to use SIPs. I suspect that SIPs cost more, but I don't know how many lift tickets I left on the slope that day, and I don't want to know. SIPs are efficient not only from an energy perspective, but also from a schedule perspective. To facilitate construction, we took the smaller panels and bolted them together to make these larger assemblies and flew that into place using a crane. The home has some difficult geometry, but despite that, we erected the home, including cutting and setting all the glue lamp beams, in 5 days. The south elevation has a inside clear height of about 26.5 feet, so I'm pretty sure that using the SIPs was the right way to go, and if nothing else, I think I saved my structural engineer from some more gray hair. So for the design geeks out there, I thought I'd share with you how the blower test went, and the short answer is extremely well. Tom Balderson was our Built Green verifier, and so he did the blower test, and the results came in at 0.19 air changes per hour, which is, I think, the lowest he's ever done in his 15-year career. So how did that happen? Not by luck. Primarily, I'm just a sealant freak. Every location that had a potential leakage path, we sealed it and double sealed it. I also used a Prosoco Cat 5 liquid membrane barrier on the exterior of the home, along with their products, the Air Dam, Fast Flash, and copious amounts of this product called M1, which is fantastic stuff. And so I think that's why this has contributed to Tom's personal best.
So, construction sites are inherently dangerous places for both workers and wildlife. And unfortunately, Karl's fascination with Cat 5 did not factor in very well with critters who use echolocation. So sadly, one early morning inspection showed a couple of bats that did not make it home that night. So this was quite a bummer. That's why it's called the Bat House. But after the house was built and after the landscaping went in, and a lot of focus and attention was spent on the exterior landscaping as well as the construction of the house, it's become an amazing place for native animal and wildlife to hang around. So much so that this summer, I think one of my favorite stories was, because most of the plants are native, I thought I would have to hang up a hummingbird feeder in order to make sure I got visitors at my house, but there's so much in the native landscape that I bought one and I didn't hang it up. And they came, and as I was trying to sprinkle a little water on some thirsty plants this summer, they were actually flying through the spray of the hose and playing about 2 feet away from me. So this was sad, but it ended up, we've ended up with a house that is very wildlife friendly. That's fun.
Oh, fast. So everything pretty well went according to plan, except for one major issue. Thorny shit, I think, would be appropriate right now. The detail excavation was a problem. I had a line on a cheap source of backfill material, and I just got carried away, put too much fill in, and we had to dig out the fill material for the footings. It was packed so hard that we had to use the claw or hammer to dig it out. It's kind of like the scene in Cool Hand Luke with the prison guard makes Luke repeatedly dig holes and then fill them in. And that went on for several weeks. And that was the only time during the project that I thought, oh my gosh, what have we got ourselves into?
So just to wrap it all up, it was a lot of hard work. And it was a lot of fun, but we now have an amazingly comfortable home in a really crazy cool mountain town. It has beautiful, beautiful views, low utility bills, fabulous air quality, walkable, bikeable, transit right there, and we were able to actually get down to one car, and we're back to a one-car household now. So we've toured hundreds of curious passerbys and green building geeks who wanted to see what Karl's project looks like, and it's been so much fun to be able to share our story with you tonight. Thank you.